I had no idea that something like this existed where you could short, small cap stocks with a prop firm. So when I found out about that, I was like, man, this is almost seems too good to be true for me, because that's just my bread and butter. So, I was really excited about it. Like we've talked about, I had to go through the hurdles of some of the rules, but I totally get it at the same time. It's understandable. It's just, as far as for my trading, I trade cheap stocks and I'm in and out pretty quickly. So I had to adjust a little bit. But like I said, I can get through it, and I made it work, and it was a fun challenge for sure.
Welcome everybody to another Funded Trader of Trader Pool. Today, Cade is with me. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, congrats on passing the evaluation. I would add finally. Cade and I had some back and forth in the email before our interview, and he's got his own style and unique trading way, I guess. And we have the rules, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and maybe how to fit the right strategy or just adjust yourself to the rules. We'll touch on that in a second. We're gonna watch his trades and the dashboard that he's working on, and basically you reached the evaluation account, the Flex 25K. Let's talk a little bit about that. Do you feel like the 25K is enough? It's flexible enough and enough money to work with?
Yeah, for sure. The fact that I can be in a few different positions, monitoring it, have that leverage, that's all I need personally. What I would say, I was able to make, a couple grand in that account in just a few days of trading. Yesterday, I traded for like 30 minutes, made like $400. So you don't need much capital. If you have the right strategy and you have your risk management, 25K is all I needed. So
amazing. And then how long did it take you to pass the evaluation?
I think it was only a couple days in total. Yeah, the market was really good. I'm short biased, so I had a lot of really good setups, a lot of previous runners, and I just like to wait on that weakness, wait on the technicals, and just study the chart, the level 2, and get in when the party's over, and ride it back down.
Sure. So mostly small caps, right? Penny stocks.
Yeah, and that's where I had to adjust, because I do like to trade cheaper stocks. So I had to adjust to the 10-cent rule. But I found that actually is not such a bad thing, because I hold my winners longer and I'm able to profit more. So it was, a little bit of a hurdle adjusting to the rules, but I totally understand it. And it was a fun challenge. And, I'm glad I persevered through, and feels good. So
amazing. And I know that you already have another evaluation account, right, active?
Yes. Yeah, I had a couple. When I first started, I was kind of just risking a little too much, getting used to it, figuring out the rules and stuff. So I had already tried a couple evaluations, but the last one, I was really just on my A game and didn't let any rules or anything bother me, and just kept going, and made it to the finish.
Yeah, it's amazing. Most traders, it will take them like 3 to 5 attempts until they pass the evaluation. Like you say, just adjusting yourself to the rules, understanding that it's not a broker account, right?
Right.
Are you trading on a broker account? Do you have your own capital?
Yeah, I went offshore to get around the PDT rule.
Yeah.
Last year I ended up with like over $50,000 in fees alone for short locates and ECN fees and this and that. So I had no idea that something like this existed where you could short, small cap stocks with a prop firm. So when I found out about that, I was like, man, this is almost seems too good to be true for me, because that's just my bread and butter. So, I was really excited about it. Like we've talked about, I had to go through the hurdles of some of the rules, but I totally get it at the same time. It's understandable. It's just, as far as for my trading, I trade cheap stocks and I'm in and out pretty quickly. So I had to adjust a little bit. But like I said, I can get through it, and I made it work, and it was a fun challenge for sure.
Amazing. How long you been doing that? How long you been trading?
I've been trading probably about 7 years or so now. I've been self-employed trading for probably about 5 years. Time goes quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very, very nice. So I'm going to share your dashboard to show the guys at home how it looks like. So for those of you not familiar with it, every trader gets his own dashboard. you can basically see your progress or track your progress in the stats, everything you need to know. Let's look at that for a second. So this is it, the flex 25K. You need to reach a 1,500 profit in order to pass the evaluation and get funded. You had an interesting, curve here, right? You found your rate pretty quickly, but then a pullback all the way to the 25, and then again you started to climb. Do you remember what happened here in that area when you almost reached it?
Yeah, that was, I believe I got kind of chopped out in some early morning like bell manipulation. And then I had like a few big trades that didn't quite pass the rule. So that took away from my profit. So, but then I, found my ground and continued on and just kept taking really good trades, good trade after good trade after that, and really just climbed back up. So
nice. 46% success rate, 1.5 on the risk reward. That's decent. Usually, this is what you usually expect to see when you're trading. For example, when you traded your broker account, this area of 50% success rate.
Yeah.
Nice. Like you said, short bias in most cases, or all of them actually. And you're literally working with those penny stocks. I see obviously a lot of our traders trading short in small caps, but you're really working on those penny below the dollar.
Yeah, there's a lot of volatility with those, and I've just been studying those for years. I was on the wrong side when I first got into trading. I'd always buy into those pumps and I'd just get dumped on. And so I smartened up and kind of joined the bears and learned my tactics, and I started to realize like I feel like I had a lot more of an edge with shorting, and I've just really found a lot of success with it, and it's definitely like my style. So
nice. So you can see the guys, what we talked about. For example, if you see the red numbers, so it basically means that it didn't or broke the rule, basically the 10 cents or the 10 cents or the 30-second rule. Yeah. But besides that, like you said, you managed to work out and actually reach the target. So that's beautiful. And especially after you tried a few attempts and got yourself to the position that you really feel comfortable with the rules. Yeah. I guess when we'll see you on the funded account, it will be roughly the same, right? You're expecting to trade similar to what you already traded on the evaluation?
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. What about, let me ask you this, because I ask this a lot when it comes to other traders that do small caps, short in penny stocks. What, there's times in the market that you don't have a lot of volatility, or you cannot really find the right asset to trade, or maybe you don't have a lot of pump and dumps. Do you have any other strategies or other ways to tackle the market?
Honestly, I found the most success in early market trading. And also, I really love 4 o'clock trading, because on my scanner, the scanner resets, and it's, for whatever reason, it's almost textbook. Every day at 4 o'clock, you'll see some of these pumps, these penny stocks just pump, and then it's almost a full rinse all the way back to where they started. And I see that 8 out of 10 days, there's at least one stock that does that. And it's a beautiful pattern. I can be there right there at 4 o'clock. So I would say that's one of my bread and butters. But also, like I said, I like to study the runners, and maybe from the previous days, once they start cooling off and all the retail traders are exiting, and I like to short those as well. But so I have a few different strategies and different times that I can be looking for stocks. So it's always good to have multiple things in my pocket.
And are you usually looking for the technical aspect of it, or are you using fundamentals as well?
I'm doing a little bit of everything. Like I need to know the news. And I'm really familiar with these stocks too. I know a lot of them are kind of fishy. They like to pump and dump. So I'm very familiar with tickers, but I also, I'm looking up the news firsthand. Most of these times, these things don't even have news. They just pump up. But also, I'm very big on reading the tape, reading level 2, watching the order flow as well. So I kind of piece a little bit of everything together.
Very nice. What about some indicators like a VWAP or MACD?
Yeah, I try not to overcomplicate it. VWAP and MACD, and I have the 50 EMA, the 200 EMA, but I found the most important is VWAP, MACD, and then the accumulation distribution.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And when you're looking for those, resistant levels, are you looking for from the daily chart, a weekly, hourly?
Yeah, I like to get it. I definitely zoom out before I take a trade and kind of see what the stock has been doing. And oftentimes the stocks that I'm shorting, when you zoom out, the chart is just like straight down. You can tell that it's just not that great of a stock. So then, I'll compare the chart. I like to flick through different time frames, and I don't really rely on just the daily or just the weekly. I like to give myself a wide range to go from and really analyze it.
Yeah, makes sense. Amazing, Cade. So besides the evaluation and the rules, anything you want to add on the trade pool, the experience that you have? Is it something that you expected to that, or?
Well, like I said, I think I'd only been with Trade the Pool like a week or two. I had messed up a couple evals, but I was very determined. Like I think I told you, I sat there and traded for like 10 hours the other day. I was on it. The market was hot. There was a lot of good opportunities, and I'm like, man, I am ready to pass this challenge and show them what I got. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. Like I said, I didn't know. I've heard about prop firms, but I thought it was like Forex and this and that. I didn't know I could stick with what I do, shorting the low caps. And so that was a beautiful thing. So it's been awesome, man. And I'm definitely telling other people about it. Guys other traders that I watch, or like, some more newbie guys, because it's just a beautiful thing. It's low risk. You can really optimize, figure your stuff out. These guys are just blowing accounts, and it's like you don't have to do that. You can. I don't really think paper trading is the greatest, because nothing's at risk, nothing's involved. So I would say something like this is a beautiful thing for traders to, figure it all out.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta have some skin in the game, at least. That's
exactly. Yeah.
Sure. Amazing, Cade. So appreciate the time and everything you shared with us.
Of course, man. It's been a
pleasure.
pleasure.
For those of you who want to check us out, go to tradeapool.com. Maybe you'll be the next funded trader. Cool. And yeah, thanks so much again.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure. Looking forward to the future.
Likewise. Bye for now.
Take care, man.